Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. House of Representatives asked the executive to urgently dialogue with the Islamic movement in Nigeria to resolve their grievances amicably as Shiite members continue their protest in Abuja. President of Senate Ahmed Lawan addresses concerns over delay in the formation of federal cabinet, says President Buhari could submit list of ministers to the Senate this week. The National Judicial Commission recommends Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad, to President Buhari for appointment as substantive CJN. And row over leaked emails criticizing President Donald Trump's administration takes new dimension as UK ambassador to the country resigns. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website, which is channelstv.com. Also watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an Eyewitness feature, so you can use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just to install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Some of the stories you sent in today. Let's begin with these set of pictures of an ongoing building construction in Otuba Sharafa Elemo Street on Lekki Expressway in Lagos. Our eyewitness says the incident left several people injured, and he wants the authorities responsible to do something about the spate of building collapse in the state. And still in Lagos is this set of images from Ijagemo community in LCDA. Our eyewitness reporter laments the trouble residents go through daily just to move from place to place and is asking the relevant authorities to intervene. Now, this last picture shows an ongoing construction of Kilo Road in Surulere by the local council authority. While commending the Surulere local government for intervening, our eyewitness reporter also wants them to quickly complete this project. Thank you so much for sending in those images, and we look forward to telling your stories of happenings around you. A former governor of Ogun State, Mr. Olusegun Oshoba, is asking those calling for a referendum in the country to approach the National Assembly to enact a law that will make it possible. Mr. Oshoba was speaking to State House correspondents after a meeting with President Buhari at the State House, where he went to present his 80th birthday book. He insists that restructuring lies with the National Assembly, and a sovereign national conference can only happen if the federal lawmakers are prepared to surrender a part of their power.
I will say with all authority that restructuring lies with the National Assembly. The president is not a military president. He cannot change anything by decree. Sovereignty in Nigeria now is vested in the National Assembly. Those agitating for sovereign national conference must go to the National Assembly, and unless the National Assembly surrenders part of its power to the sovereign national conference by an act, there can never be a sovereign national conference. Secondly, agitation for referendum, there must be an act of Parliament of the National Assembly to create that referendum. It's not the president that will, by fiat or by executive order for a referendum. It must go through and that's why I plead with our leaders, Papa Edwin Clark, Papa Yoade Banjo, Professor Banji Akitoye, all across Nigeria. They met the 8th Senate and they heard what that National Assembly had done in terms of review of the Constitution. They should come out and tell us.
The Senate is asking the executive to issue a travel alert to Nigerians who intend to visit South Africa, warning them of the xenophobic attacks in that country. The decision is as a result of the killings of Nigerians in South Africa, as contained in a motion presented by Senator Eyinaya Abaribe. He was drawing the attention of members to the recent killings of a Nigerian, that's Mrs. Elizabeth Ndubisi Chukwu, in that country. Our correspondent, Terry Kumi, has this report.
Mr. President.
On a day filled with points of order in the Red Chamber, one of them stood out. The attention of lawmakers is drawn to the recent killing of a government official on assignment in South Africa.
Mrs. Elizabeth Ndubisi Chukwu in South Africa, a native and indigenous of Anambra State. That the suspicion that she could have been murdered was further confirmed in a separate document issued by the South Africa's Department of Health on June 27, 2019, where it corroborated the autopsy report and revealed that she was strangled.
Elizabeth Ndubisi Chukwu, the Deputy Director General of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, who was attending the conference of the African Insurance Organization, was allegedly murdered on the 13th of June at the Emperor's Palace Hotel, South Africa, where she had lodged.
We remember when we used to cry, "Free Mandela." So Soweto, but we find that Soweto is even beautiful than most cities, part of Abuja. And so they are teaching us a lesson.
We must invite the Nigerian ambassador and the Nigerian Consulate General in South Africa here to explain to these chambers, and invite the South African ambassador in Nigeria.
One lawmaker adds a prayer to the motion to alert Nigerians.
Nigeria needs to issue a travel alert so Nigerians who are going to South Africa will be aware of the dangers they're going to face when they get there. So there's need to issue a travel alert by Nigerian government.
The prayer is adopted by the Senate, but another prayer to temporarily sever ties with South Africa is, however, rejected.
Those in support of the additional prayer, say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it. South African businesses probably flourish more than any other businesses established in this country. And South Africans are safe, very well protected in Nigeria. There is no need for any South African to take the life of any Nigerian or indeed any other citizen.
The Senate urges the Nigerian and South African governments to investigate the death of Elizabeth Ndubisi Chukwu and other Nigerian citizens who have died non-natural deaths in South Africa. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
As lawmakers express concern about the safety of Nigerians traveling to South Africa, the federal government is asking the South African police to cooperate in efforts to unravel the circumstances behind the murder of Mrs. Ndubisi Chukwu. This is contained in the letter to the South African High Commissioner in Nigeria from the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erowa. The letter acknowledges the receipt of a report on the death of Mrs. Ndubisi Chukwu, former Deputy Director General of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, under mysterious circumstances at the Emperor's Palace Hotel in Johannesburg, South Africa. According to her, quote, "We implore the South African police to cooperate in efforts to unravel the issue as we have received allegations to their being uncooperative in the investigations," end of quote. She appeals to the South African High Commissioner to use his good office to ensure proper investigation into the case in order for justice to be served. Now let's cross over to our Abuja studios, where Markwe is standing by with more stories.
Hello, Melinda. It's good to see you. Now, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has asked military officers to support the federal government's efforts in the war against insurgency and other emerging security challenges. Vice President Osinbajo gave the charge during the passing out parade of cadets of Direct Short Service Course 28 at the Nigerian Air Force in Kaduna State. He emphasizes that the efforts of the new military officers are needed in defeating all ideologies that promote mindless killings and anarchy across the country.
You are passing out at a time when our nation is grappling with an insurgency in the northeast and the challenges of kidnapping and armed banditry in other parts of the country. You will therefore have come to terms with the fact that the days and weeks and months ahead of you will be extremely busy. as you will fulfill your responsibilities to the military and to the nation. While the armed forces have effectively contained the territorial ambitions of the Boko Haram terrorists by substantially degrading their capacity to attack and wreak havoc, they remain intent on shedding blood and sowing fear. There is also the threat of the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP. This ever-increasing reliance on propaganda is a reminder that this is not only a battleground war, it is just as much an information and narrative war. Winning hearts and minds has always been important in military warfare. It is even more so in a century defined by information and communication technologies. As 21st century military officers, that you must take the time and trouble to fully understand the nature of the threats that confront us.
Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The Taraba State Governor, Darius Ishaku, has been speaking on the raid on his house in the nation's capital, allegedly by police officers. The governor describes the action as disgraceful and embarrassing. Governor Ishaku told Channels Television that he feels bad that the democratic government of the APC is not living according to the tenets of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I'm shocked that only PDP party could talk about it. APC didn't talk about it. Don't they have governors? Could somebody walk into APC governor's house and search it? Break the door, the gate, break all the doors of my house, throw away my children out, whom I used 2 years to beg them to come back to Nigeria. And now one of them has gone back. I'm still begging him to come back.
On the suspension of the Ruga settlement program by the federal government, Governor Ishaku says the whole Ruga scheme should be cancelled, insisting that the federal government cannot do Ruga settlement in the whole of the country. He alleges that he submitted a request for a loan for ranching from the CBN, but the CBN declined approving it for reasons he doesn't know.
The whole Ruga scheme should be cancelled. The whole Ruga scheme, you can't do a Ruga in the whole country. I don't accept it. It's not workable. It will not work in Taraba State. Already I have in place already the anti-open grazing bill. It is a law in Taraba State that you are not allowed to graze openly. And we're making a lot of progress on the ranching. I've even submitted a request for us to be given loan on ranching, but the CBN has refused to approve it for whatever reason. Otherwise, I will have showcased what it is to be doing the ranching in Taraba State. It's the best form of practice in this modern day. If indeed you are talking about cattle, if indeed you are talking about grazing, if indeed you are talking about grass, but I don't think they are talking about cattle. I don't think they are talking about grazing. I don't agree they are talking about cattle. They are talking about something else, colonization.
Meanwhile, 4 persons are feared killed by unknown gunmen in Murbai community of Adokola local government area of Taraba State. According to some eyewitnesses who escaped, the attackers came on motorbikes and surrounded them, shooting and killing 4 of them. One of the victims narrates that she and 6 others went to a farm on motorcycles to Murbai community to buy maize for roasting and selling, only to be shot at by unknown gunmen. The survivors revealed that they escaped through the bush paths and ran to nearby villages for safety. The remains of the victims have been deposited at the morgue of the Federal Medical Center, Jalingo. As at the time of filing this report, the Police Public Relations Officer of Taraba State, David Misal, says no information has reached him on the incident. And that's all from Abuja. It's back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Malpe. When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria's public debt profile rises 2.3% to nearly 25 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2019. That's on business news. Plus, Nigeria's Super Eagles qualified for the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations with a 2-1 victory over South Africa. You get details on Sports News. Join us again.